there, and welcome to Lyss Listens, the place where real questions meet real talk, straight from the heart. I'm Alyssa, your go to voice for soulful advice, mindset magic, and unapologetic truth. Every week, I dive into anonymous submissions from women like you navigating life, love, business, motherhood, healing, and everything in between. Nothing is off limits, and everything is met with compassion, intuition, and a whole lot of wisdom. So, whether you're here for guidance, curiosity, or a little permission to feel what you feel, you're in the right place. Let's get into today's questions and see what's ready to be revealed. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Lyss Listens. Today, our question really had me kind of relive a very recent incident of mine, and I'm so grateful for it because sometimes admitting when you were wrong is not only a part of growth, but it's how you can stay honest and consistent with yourself, if I'm being totally honest. So, the question is how to stay consistent with a positive mindset. Here's the thing. A positive mindset and like always having a consistent positive mindset is toxic as shit. And we can talk about toxic positivity or whatever people like to call it on the internet, which sure, that is a thing. But when we're talking specifically in mindset and manifestation, those who are always positive and have a positive outlook on things, it's not like they're getting rewarded more than all of humanity, which is here to experience human emotions. And that comes with the array of human emotions. It's about how you recover from feeling that emotion. It's about how do you let that emotion completely throw you into a spiral? Do you let it consume your entire day? Do you let it become your new identity? No, right? Like you're meant to experience the human emotions. You're meant to experience anger, grief, anxiety, but are those your dominant frequencies, right? I am someone who I can positively say that my common dominant frequency is positivity. I'm always someone who sees the glass half full, but that does not mean that I am a better manifester for it. I'm a better person for it, right? It just means that that's my dominant frequency. But in that same breath, if you are someone who has a dominant frequency of doom and gloom and pessimistic and anxious and anger, then yeah, you're going to attract that to you. But when you have a moment where positivity is not your number one thing, that doesn't mean that you have just fucked your entire existence up of being able to become a master manifester. It simply just means that you're human, right? And I'll share a story with you that I am not proud of, but it is what it is. It happened very recently. And I am proud to say, though, that this doesn't happen to me often. Like, this isn't something that I can say, even I remember the last time something like this happens, right? Hey there, I'm interrupting to let you know that for the entire month of August 2025, I have something really special for you. For the whole month, I'm offering you a free 7-day trial inside of my Magnetic Movement membership. No strings, no pressure, just a sacred space to explore what's possible when you align with your power and start manifesting from your true energetic frequency. Inside the membership, you'll get instant access to my signature trainings, embodiment practices, money and mindset education portals, and a whole community of support to help you attract your desires without the hustle, the burnout, or bypassing your human experience. This is your chance to come in, feel the magic, and experience what it's like to be surrounded by a community of women who are also committed to living their most abundant, worthy, and aligned life. If you've ever been curious about joining, this is your moment. Click the link in the show notes or the video description to activate your free 7-day trial, and I'll see you inside. Your next level self is already waiting for you there. So I went to Starbucks, and if you're new here, I will tell you right now, I am not a fan of Starbucks, but I go there because they have a drive-through and an order ahead and all the convenient things that in my little small town, I don't have access to that in this small town. And there's a Starbucks here, which is kind of weird. But anyways, so I will frequent Starbucks if I'm in town. And the few past few times I'd gone there, I get the same thing every time. They have made the order incorrectly. And the first few times I kind of just let it slide. I'm like, oh, it is what it is. I used to work in the food service industry, so I totally know mistakes happen, blah, blah, blah. Well, this particular day, which was just a few weeks ago, my drink was made incorrectly again. And it's always the same barista working whenever the order gets wrong. And so as soon as I ordered it, and I already had this like preconceived thing pulling up to the drive-thru. So you can even go as far to say that I manifested this, right? So I'm pulling up through the drive-thru and I hear this barista's voice and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's gonna get wrong again. It's gonna get made wrong again because every time this person's working, it's always wrong, blah, 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 blah. But I ordered my drink, went to the drive-thru, got my drink, drove away, got quite a ways away from the location whenever I took my first sip and realized it was wrong. And then I looked at the sticker said it was wrong. You know, it wasn't what I ordered. So I drove back, irritated that I have to drive back because I'm in a time crunch. I have somewhere I need to be. I have my son in the back. We're running errands. And I pull through the drive-thru, let them know that it was made incorrectly. I come up to the drive-thru. They hand me my correct drink, and I try to exchange the wrong drink. And they told me that it's against policy to accept drinks back through the window. I'm like, well, okay, it's also against policy to make the drink wrong in the first place, but hey, what the fuck do I know? And so I said, well, I don't have room for all these drinks in my car. Like, can you please just take this back? They said, no, you have to throw it away. Our trash can's inside. And I'm like, well, I have my baby in the back. So I have to come and park, get out of the car, get my baby out of the car just to throw this drink away that was made incorrectly by you. Sorry, it's policy. We can't take the drinks back. So that irritated the shit out of me. So I drove around the corner and I had the wrong drink in my hand and I just chunked it as hard as I could out of the window. And I said, I forget, like, that's fucking bullshit. It's bullshit. I was angry. It's frustrated. And immediately after I threw it, I felt this, Alyssa, you shouldn't have done that. Like, come on, that's so childish. Like, why did you just littered, number one, and you just chunked a drink out of your car like you're 12. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Um, and I immediately wasn't trying to vindicate what I had done. Like, I was like, no, but it's their fault that happened, right? I wasn't trying to do any of that. I was just like, that was a human emotion. Like, I felt that. And for a split second, my inner critic came in and said, but Alyssa, as someone who talks about mindset and manifestation, like, that's not how you should be acting. And I said back to myself, what a crock of shit that is, because I'm human. I'm human. Things happen. I'm not less of a mentor because that happened to me. I'm not less of a person because it happened to me. I'm not less of a person because I had a moment where I let my frustration and irritation literally take over the situation. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Um, Now, if I really was a grown and evolved person, I would have turned back around, picked up that cup, went inside, apologized, and went about my day. Did I do that? No. But hey, I know now for if that happens to me again, which it will not, because this is not a common thing that happens to me. I don't act that way. And honestly, this might sound like a little bratty, but who fucking cares? Things like that don't happen to me. Like, I don't get wrong orders. I don't get, actually, that is not true. If you ask my husband, he would be like, every time you order something, there's always something wrong because I have such dietary restrictions. Like, I'm dairy free, I'm gluten free, I only eat poultry and fish. And it's like, there's always something, but it doesn't bother me because I'm like, it's a lot to remember and to write down and to ring into your system. And I customize everything no matter where I go. So yeah, it gets made or it gets made wrong a lot. But for some reason, that day, I wasn't having it. So I wasn't staying consistent in my positive mindset, but I immediately recognized that it was wrong and I didn't try to make it right in my head. I allowed myself to be like, you know what, that was wrong, Alyssa, like, come on. This is not how we should act. Like, your son's in the back, yeah, he's 4 months old, but like, I remember being a child and seeing my dad shove his middle finger through the window of cars of people that he was driving past and have the road rage and all the things. And I don't want my son to be like, yeah, my mom lost her shit in the car and it was weird. You know, like, not trying to have that as a program or thought in his mind that he has to undo at some point in his life. But all of that to say, you're human. You're going to do things that you aren't necessarily proud of. It's how you act and respond after the fact. If you do something and you let your mind spiral and you let the anxiety and the anger and the frustration kind of overtake you, number one, give yourself fucking grace because you're human. But number two, how are we going to attack it in the future? Also, when we react this way and don't always have a positive outlook and we're angry and anxious and all these things, that's normally a trigger. And a trigger is a beautiful thing because it tells you exactly what it is that you need to heal. Me, I don't really get pissed off if people call me names or make fun of me or have trolls on the comment section on the internet, on social media, on YouTube, whatever. I don't really give a fuck because none of that means anything to me. Now, if you were to ask me about that 10 years ago, I would say, oh, I'm upset as shit over what strangers are saying about me, how other people perceive me. But I wasn't as confident then as I am now. I didn't have such a solid foundational self worth that I do now, to where that stuff doesn't bother me. If I were to have someone, I don't know, like cut me off on the highway and I get so irritated that I need to like follow them and scream and cuss at them or whatever, that is a trigger that I would need to address, right? Like anytime that you are having a feeling that is not from the divine, because let's be totally for real right now, anxiety, anger, grief, frustration, those are not feelings from the divine. So that's another direct indication of something that is within you that you need to heal and work on to become better for in the future. Okay, this isn't a the whole point of life on earth and the whole point of mastering your mindset and mastering manifestation isn't to not make mistakes, isn't to look at yourself in the past versions of you and go, oh my God, what an absolute train wreck. No, you learn, you grow, you evolve. Your book isn't done until you're dead, right? So you can keep writing the chapters, you can keep rereading the chapters, you can keep deciding what happens next for you. Also, I've talked about this a few times, you are an adult and at some point you have to take radical responsibility for who you are as a person. It's not cute to be an adult and say, well, I am the way I am because of this person or this situation. Everybody has shit. Everybody has things that they have gone through. Everybody has had someone else's handprint on them at some point as far as why they are the way they are. But if you don't like that about yourself and you want to change, you have the power to do so. And you're a grown ass adult. So you should take the responsibility into your own hands to come better, to do better, to thrive better. You know what I mean? So, how do you have consistent positive mindset? Maybe you don't. Maybe that's not the point. Maybe the point is to try your best to be as happy and excited and lit up about life as possible and readjust and redo when you have moments where you show your humanness to a point that maybe you weren't thrilled about. If you like being an angry asshole, live your fucking life, babe. But if you are over it and you're tired of letting it ruin your life and ruin your relationships and ruin your opportunities, then it is your responsibility to shift the lens on how you see things that are happening in your life. Perspective is everything, and only you can control that. So the goal isn't to have positivity shooting out of your ass all day long. It's to take a good radical look at what role you play in your positivity and addressing the things that don't keep you happy and nice to be around, right? I think that's the whole point. I have some great news. So, for the month of August 2025, if you're watching this in August of 2025, you can join the membership for free for a 7-day trial to come in, take a look around, see if it's your vibe, see if this is the place for you to live and thrive in. And you can submit your next question to be answered anonymously on Lyss Listens using the link below. And I will see you next time. I'll be listening. Bye.